welcome. This, I think, is going to be an intermission. We just finished. What did we just finish? The root trees are dead, and we're going to go into locomotive next. But I've been meaning to do this for a little while. Guy Kelly, very funny guy, very creative guy, made a text adventure game called I Will Strangle a Horse. And he made it a few months ago, and I've been meaning to play it. I don't know why I did that. I'm not trying to be seductive. I don't even like what's seductive. There was a little bit of cola running down my Pepsi. You don't need to know that. Anyway, he made a text adventure game, and I've been meaning to play it for ages, but the way my brain works is if I'm not actively thinking about something, it doesn't exist, which has caused problems on more than one occasion. But I remember it now. It popped up on my blue sky today again, and I was like, I am between games. Let's do it. Let's record it. Let's see how it goes. He said, I asked him if it was cool for me to record my thing, because I have no idea what's inside. I'm assuming a horse, at least one horse, at some point. It's probably going to be funny. It may be rude. If it's rude, I might put something in the description just in case you are like 12 or something. Maybe you shouldn't be watching if you're 12. I do occasionally say words that a 12-year-old would never think of, like the F word. Yeah. So I thought I would get into it. I'm assuming there's going to be no sound. I need to cough, so I'm going to pause my recording. I'm assuming there's going to be no sound, so I may put some music over this. And also I can see a massive scroll bar on the side of my screen, which didn't go away when I full screened it. So I may black that out with a rectangle so you don't see it. It's over there. Other than that, who knows? Let's see where this goes. I'm assuming I'm going to do this in one shot. I mean, there's a chance I might die immediately. You know what text adventure games are like. I could be trampled by a horse in my first move. If there's a horse that's going to trample me, I don't know. I've no idea what's in this. All I've heard is people have fun playing it. I don't know. I don't know what the goal is. I don't know who I am. I don't know what happens. Maybe I will strangle a horse. Maybe that's the goal. If you don't like horses being strangled, then maybe this isn't the game for you. So anyway, it's been 3 minutes. Let's crack on. And my throat. I don't want to be that person. You know when some people just, and you're listening to them and you're just like, please clear your throat, please clear your throat, please clear your throat. I don't want to be that person. It personally drives me a little bit bonkers. So I would try not to be that, but that may involve pausing the recording every so often just so I can clear my throat. I don't know what's wrong with that. Oh, I just had some like peanut butter noodles, and maybe the peanut butter is peanut buttering inside me. Let's begin. I've waffled about peanut butter enough. Let's go. These are guys' socials, by the way, so check him out. You are Martin Jenkins, and it's your first day at work. You're thrilled to be working on the farm. You're not sure what the farm is or does, but you know you're happy to be here. Farm, you think to yourself contentedly. Farm. You don't remember the interview process or when you actually applied to work at the farm, but you do know that you awoke this morning with a terrific sense of purpose, a goal so vast and urgent that it felt like fire in your veins. I will strangle a horse. And that's what we press to continue. If you see my face jump slightly, that's because I'm clearing my throat and then resuming the recording. You're standing at the entrance of the farm. The air around you is filled with what you can only assume to be the sights, sounds, and smells of what the farm has got going on. The path in front of you splits in 3 directions: grain silo, tractors and that, farmhouse. Okay, so if our goal is to strangle a horse, is that alright? Okay, are we going to directly go and strangle this horse? Are we going to directly go strangle this horse, or are we going to go and try and Do we need implements to strangle a horse? I can't get... Well, assuming... What am I? Martin Jenkins, my name? Maybe I should have written that down. I'm writing nothing down. This is all in my brain. It's definitely good at holding on to information. If I'm a human man, I don't think my human hands are wide enough, large enough to strangle a horse. So maybe I need implementation to strangle a horse. Maybe I need a rope. Maybe I need a man with big hands. Secondly, do I need information about where the horse is or a horse is? I don't think I care which horse I strangle. So with that in mind, maybe I'll go to the farmhouse, because I think the farmhouse might have horse information or horse strangling tools. Here we go. You stride with purpose towards the door to the farmhouse. If you know anything about horses, and to be clear, you absolutely don't. Okay, so I invoke some information about horse necks, but maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe we just take it in our strides. Maybe we don't know anything. This is where the horse will be found, probably hiding in some sort of the farmer's cupboard, like the cowardly brute it is. You steel yourself and knock at the door. You've got what you believe is your job to do. Strangle a horse. And by God, you're going to do it. Strangle a horse. Who's there? You knock on the door and you hear a sound echo through the building. It's the sort of effortlessly commanding atmosphere that makes you proud to work on the farm. What the atmosphere doesn't do, however, is open the door, or indeed anything other than emanate from a house. Right, knock again. I don't operate on vampire rules, I'm going in. What kind of man is Martin Jenkins? Stuart, the me, would just knock 2 to 3 times and then leave and give up on my dreams of strangling a horse and never talk about it again. But maybe Martin Jenkins is more forthright. Maybe Martin Jenkins he gave it 1 knock. He's adamant he's going to strangle a horse. I think he seems more adamant about strangling a horse than I've been about anything in my life ever. So maybe Martin Jenkins just goes in. He's going in. Throwing caution to the wind, you kick the door open. It really hurts, and it takes ages. Eventually, however, you get it to budge. "Here's Martin," you say, through the splintered door. Not because you've seen The Shining. The only film you've ever seen was The Sand Pebbles, and it was so long that you sort of wrote off the medium altogether. But because you were brought up being told that it's important to introduce yourself, whether or not you're preparing to strangle 400 plus kilos of agitated horse flesh. I don't think my mouth was fully ready to say that sentence. Unfortunately, your method of entering an unwitting movie reference has activated the incredibly high-tech security system that all the farms have in their... the farmhouses, which is trained to detect people who, A, kick a house's door to bits, and B, reference a movie from over 40 years ago while they're doing it. Oh dear. Alarms blare and red emergency lights flash. You remember from your The Farm training handbook that in the event of the alarm being triggered, a swarm of mechanical murder spiders will be released, with the goal of reducing all matter deemed farm naughty into a thin paste to feed to the pigs, whatever they are. In fact, that was all the training handbook had to say. What it lacked in broad farming detail, it really made up for in the specifics of how to run a swarm of mechanical murder Let's back that up. What it lacked in broad farming detail, it really made up for in specifics on how a swarm of mechanical murder spiders can and will empastulize you. Okay, well, the farm book doesn't tell me if running or hiding is better. Real life Stuart, me, not Martin Jenkins, doesn't like spiders. Used to be really afraid of spiders, and now I'm kind of ambivalent, apart from when they start moving in that spidery way, and it really bothers me. Spiders are really good at sensing vibrations, so maybe I'll hide, and they won't. If I start running, they'll pick up on my footsteps. So I'm going to hide. Maybe Martin Jenkins knows more about spiders than he does about horses, and with my spider knowledge, I'm hiding. Oh god! Oh fuck! This is not what you wanted to happen. This situation is probably never what you want to happen unless you're a murder spider yourself or have a weird thing about getting fed to pigs. Maybe examine that a bit. That's not okay. You drop to the floor and crawl, looking for safety. The kitchen. I see. Right, these are my options. The kitchen. What it lacks in space, it may make up for in snacks. And who knows how long you're going to be waiting out these spiders. Hide in a wardrobe. It's like their main deal. That is true. As the text suggests, I have seen spiders more in wardrobes than I have in kitchens. In fact, I don't see spiders in kitchens very often. Even when kitchens are attached to like the living area, like open plan things. What do spiders have against kitchens? The kitchen it is. Also snacks. Also snacks. Also, I've only seen one episode of Inside Number 9, and it did not go well for people who were in a wardrobe. You wriggle your way into the kitchen, pocketing a freshly baked loaf of farmhouse bread you spot along the way. Do you hide in the fridge or the cupboard? See, the cupboard, we're getting back into spider territory again. The cupboard is easier for people, especially if it's one of those large larder-like cupboards. Ah, you know what I've done? I've made my face too big. There we go. Sorry. I don't look over here. I made it bigger because there was a lot more space, but now I'm looking like I'm looking away from the text. No, wait. That's because I'm looking at my second screen. If I look over here, this will be fine. Maybe over here. Maybe I'll just make myself small again. Or I put my actual physical camera down there, so I'm looking up at the text, and I can go over here. No. Sorry if I covered up the text and didn't realise it. Hopefully it's fine. I'll look over every now and again. But these look like the margins of the thing. Nicely justified. Well done, guy. Anyway, back to our fridge cupboard dilemma. Cupboards are easier to get into, I think. Like with a fridge, I think I'd have to like remove the shelves, and also it's cold. And if it's a very old fridge, as it might be in a farmhouse, it might be one of those very old classic fridges. I believe you could get stuck inside them. I have this, it's not a memory because I'm not that old, but I have a memory of the idea of like PSAs that were like, don't go in the fridge, you'll get stuck in them and die. Like you used to not be able to open fridges from the inside or something. They used to be like latched. I don't know how old fridges worked. So I'm despite the fact that I don't think spiders would go in a fridge, I'm going to stick with the cupboard because I think if I go in the fridge, I'm going to get stuck in there and die. And be cold about it. Cupboard. You crawl, inch by agonizing inch, towards the kitchen cupboard. The roar of the mechanical spiders is filling your ears. Surely they'll be on you any second. Stop fanning about and let me in the cupboard. That's fair. You climb inside, pulling the door closed just as you hear the sound of an absolute fucking dickload of murderous security spider robots flying past. Why do they fly? Surely they should just skitter. Fucking hell. What a day. With the door closed, your eyes need a moment to get used to the dark. However, in that darkness, your other senses become heightened. You are convinced you're not alone. Okay, which of our heightened senses are we going to explore the environment with? I'm not going for taste. Smell would be interesting because in real life, my sense of smell is very, very poor. As is Guy's, I believe. It's not as poor as Guy's, but it's quite poor. Shout out to Guy and his anosmia. So let's live the fantasy and use a heightened sense of smell to continue. You take in a spectacular lungful of piping hot chocolate air and notice the main smell of this cupboard is horse. Unfortunately, you cannot do anything about that, as it turns out you are deathly allergic to horses, and you immediately swell up to the size of a Honda Civic and pop all over the insides of the cupboard and probably the outsides of a horse. But you'll never know, because you've died. of immuno horse pop. You have not strangled a horse. Return to start. I do want you to know that originally, when I was reading this line, but my brain was starting to take in this line, I thought it said return to Stuart. And part of my brain was already going, I don't remember putting my name in. Return to start. Well, round 1 did not go well. I mean, where did we go wrong? Getting in the cupboard? Getting in the cupboard? I don't think smelling was our problem. Because I think we would have been allergic to horses no matter what sense we use. So maybe we shouldn't get in the cupboard. Maybe we shouldn't go in the kitchen. Maybe we shouldn't go in the house. Maybe I'll just go... We'll do another round. I'm not going to do loads of rounds because I want to give you an opportunity to explore the game and the opportunities it offers. But I will take a few shots of this. Hopefully strangle a horse. What I've learned about myself is strangling a horse is going to be harder than I think if I'm allergic to horses. This immuno horse pop is going to... It's going to be a problem. Okay, we've got to think seriously. This is a very serious situation. We've got some clues. We've got some information. I'm going to head in a completely different direction. Let's go. You are Martin Jenkins. We know all this. We applied to work at the farm. We awoke this morning with a terrific sense of purpose, a goal so vast and urgent that it feels like fire in your veins. I will strangle a horse. Having died and returned, I do feel more strongly about strangling a horse than I did the first time. The first time I came here, I was more whimsical about it. Now I'm feeling very strongly about strangling a horse. So there you go. The game has done its job. It's enlivened my sense of stranglephilia. Horse stranglephilia, specifically. Not just general stranglephilia. Okay, we're standing at the entrance of the farm. The air around you can only be assumed to be the sight, sounds, and smells of what the farm's got going on. The path once again splits in 3 directions. Now, you've got to be careful in a grain silo, because you might drown in grain. But I'm feeling brave. Let's go. You walk down the path towards the grain silo. Farm ground crunching beneath your shiny new farm boots. At the end of the path, you see a large metal tube sticking out of the ground. It looks like a tree, if trees are absolutely fucking massive, made out of metal, didn't have any wood or leaves or branches or anything like that. Okay. Okay. There's a tall ladder leading up the side of the tube. Okay, so, sorry, my brain took way too long to realise this was the silo. I was picturing like a telegraph pole thing. And of course it's the silo. There's a tall... Okay. I'm clearly too slow for this game. We're walking towards the silo. We see a silo. I'm so sorry, Guy. I'm so sorry about everything that's happening. There's a tall ladder leaning up against the side of the tube. To the east is another path with a sign reading shovels, hose, etc. Back the way you came is a sign that says, back the way you came. It says it out loud, and you're not sure how. Now, climbing the ladder and attempting to enter a grain silo, very dangerous. If you are the hypothetical 12-year-old I spoke about at the beginning of this video, and you live near a farm, and there's the opportunity to go in a grain silo, don't do it. That's my little disclaimer there. I'm also probably don't strangle a horse. Don't do anything that I do in this video. Unlike all my other series where you definitely should be doing things like getting involved in the occult and diving into people's memories, etc. I haven't done that many videos. You decide to climb the ladder. That seems like the sort of thing you would do on the farm. You haven't technically climbed the ladder before, but it can't exactly be that hard. There are no moving parts that you can see, and it seems to be a bunch of sticks all cobbled together. Grasp. I'm a first run kind of guy. We could start spreading our legs as we go, but let's start solid. Although grabbing the first rung, wouldn't that be like really low to the ground? If you're grabbing, you want to be grabbing like the 8th rung. You bend down to grab the first rung of the ladder, pivoting at the waist and folding in half with a sickening crunch. Okay, good. We're speaking the same language. As the colours drain from the world and everything goes to black, your final thoughts are, I still don't know what a horse is. You have died of bad yoga. You have not strangled a horse. Return to Stuart. I feel quite happy that I thought about the first rung thing. But I feel quite sad that I'm now dead again. That lasted about 4 minutes. The first one at least lasted about 10 minutes. We can do this. Okay. I'm going to stick with the silo thing. We're going to make this silo thing work. I will strangle a horse. I will go to the grain silo. I will climb the ladder. How many rungs before it doesn't kill us? I don't trust myself to freestyle. One, 2, 3. 3 is still about here. Let's go back. 3 is still about here. I can grab 3. I don't know how much use it would be. Maybe 3 is about there. I don't know if you can hear me. I think 3 is about here. 3 isn't going to kill me. I don't think it's going to be as helpful as grabbing like 6, but I trust it. I don't trust myself to freestyle. I haven't seen a ladder before. I haven't climbed a ladder before. I don't think I'm ready to just leap wholeheartedly into laddering. Okay, it hasn't killed us. You place your hand on the 3rd rung of the ladder and feel yourself filled with a tremendous sense of inner peace. It's like floating in a warm dream made of hot chocolate and clouds. Is this what ladders feel like? Why on earth were you so sure about having to strangle a horse when there was bliss like this to be found in the world? Continue to grasp the 3rd rung. The bliss continues to wash over you, and you feel yourself drifting into a deep, endless sleep. As the world vanishes into nothing, you make out a manufacturer's mark on the ladder. Let the blessed sleep consume you. Cling to life for long enough to solve this ladder's mystery. I am too early in this channel to explain why I really want to click this one. So I'm going to attempt to solve the ladder's mystery. Shit. You force your eyes open a fraction more, using your last shreds of will to learn about this wonderful thing that's happening to you. Your heavy eyes focus on the label. Jacobson's Euphoric Joke Ladders. Every 3rd rung is made of a lethal dose of heroin, and that's the way we like it. Yeah, that sounds about right. You have not strangled a horse. You got all bungled on ladder and died. Return to start. It's a lot harder to strangle a horse than I thought it would be. And I'm not going to lie. I already thought it was really hard to strangle a horse. But it turns out it's incredibly hard to do the basic functions needed to get to a horse. If anything, you know how train spotting puts you off drugs if you ever had the inclination? Or it should do. I think this game is putting me off strangling horses. And perhaps that's the true beauty here. Maybe Danny Boyle should pick up the rights and create a motion picture out of it. Return to start. Okay, I have done 3, but I feel like I need to... I need to... I don't know what I need to do. Right, I will strangle a horse. Now let's think. Do we want to go to the silo still? There are two main strategies, right? The first is to keep hammering down a path until you nail it. So we could keep going to the grain silo. We could figure out what's on, if there's anything of value at the grain silo. By focusing hard on trying to extract the right decision. You know, clearly we were foolish. Clearly it was obvious. We shouldn't have bent down for that first rung. We shouldn't have grabbed the third rung. We should have read the ladder before grabbing it. That was our fault. That was on us. There was no way. It was the game's fault for not telling us. That was me. I should have known better. So if we were more thoughtful, we could really nail the grain silo. The second school of thought is branch out as broadly as possible. We've done farmhouse, we've done grain silo, we could do tractors on that, and maybe something will become clear in the breadth of opportunity for us. Therefore, I'm going to look at tractors and that, and then if that kills us, we will at least have some idea of what each land offers us, and we can make a decision from there. Tractors and that it is. You decide to head towards the path that offers tractors and that, thinking cunningly that the unspoken end to that sentence might well be, and that horse you just cannot wait to strangle. After a few minutes of walking, you find yourself standing in front of what can only be described as a barn. Enter the barn? Or why could it only be described as a barn? Good question. Fine. You find yourself standing in front of what can only be described as an elite garage from the company John Williams Stables. It's a bespoke wooden structure with a felt roof built to order and custom made to safely house agricultural vehicles, classic cars and more, while providing a reserved aesthetic that will withstand the test of time. Why, with regular treatment and maintenance, you could see this building far outlasting the farm's current residents, even those you aren't planning to strangle, which is all of them. Except for a horse. Thank you, that's more like it. Good. Stretch your prose, guy. There's no pleasing some people. Will you enter the goddamn barn? Alright, I'll enter the barn. You push open the barn door and it opens in such a way that is so immediately familiar to everyone, so utterly ubiquitous an occurrence, so fundamental to the lived experience of every human on Earth, that to even begin to describe it would be a waste of everyone's time. Banks of gleaning tractors stretch off to your left, and on the right you see a large, bulky tractor with horsebox written on the side. Tractor time, or horsebox. That sounds suspiciously like a box for by or with a horse. I should check that out. Now, I mean, obviously we don't trust the game, just generally. But I also have come, thanks to the Groundhog Day thematics of a choose-your-own text adventure, have learned through death that I'm allergic to horses. And I'm assuming I remain allergic to horses with every restart. My concern is the horsebox will kill us as readily as that horsey cupboard did. Also, who doesn't love a tractor? Tractor time. It's like your dear old father used to say, when you want to strangle a horse, first take a look at the tractors. He was a very cryptic man, your father, and often prone to such remarks. He'd write endless letters to local newspapers, schools and clergy, all brimming with similar advice, until someone from the council had to come round and offer him 50 quid if he'd give it a rest for a bit and let everyone calm down. Still, you've always followed his advice. And it's not done you wrong so far. After all, if you hadn't, you wouldn't be here, prowling around the nooks and crannies of the farm, looking for a horse to strangle the absolute buggery out of. So we could reminisce more about our father, or scuttle up and down a tractor for a bit. Their wheels are well big. There's something about the way we're spoken of. Why do we scuttle so? Who are we? I think we're humans. Why is this green? Can I... Okay. I'm too used to, like, root trees and Blake Banner and stuff, where every thing will produce a, like, newspaper article. Yeah, I'll reminisce more about my father. Why not? We've got time. It's not like horses are fast or anything and can get away. You close your eyes and think about your father and the pranks he used to play, like all the times he'd play a beeping sound while you were asleep and whisper, "Wake up, son, please wake up," so you briefly thought you were in a coma. And this was all one terrible dream. Oh, Dad, you scoundrel. I'm going to get to the mesh a bit because I do know Guy. And he's well worth a follow on Blue Sky, if you're on Blue Sky. I do know him and his father have an ongoing prank about... I want to say hiding a scarab with the other. Like they secretly pass a scarab back and forth. So this speaks of a terrible truth. You can almost hear him now. Beep. Beep. Oh god, I thought I saw his eyes flicker. I'm assuming his dad's Cockney, because that's one of the only voices I can do. Beep. Beep. Martin, can you hear me? It's your father. I don't know what Guy's father sounds like. This is not Guy's father, this is Martin's father. Gosh, it's almost like he's in the room with you. Almost like if you open one eye. But surely not. Your eyes are both open. Your eyes are both open. Open your eyes. You open your eyes. Your head feels thick, foggy. Your body aches. Or you can see a white shape swimming in front of you. You rub your eyes to clear your vision. Oh my god, Janet, he's waking up! You turn around towards the sound of your father's voice. What's going on? You croak. Finally, your vision clears. In front of you, it's... I almost don't want to click it. What is it? Oh god, oh fuck, oh no. It's the shape of your father, but there's a horse head where his dad head should be. That's what horses look like. Dads. With big horse knockings on top. Oh fuck. Oh no. You're so scared by this equestrio-patriarch hybrid that you immediately shit out every bone in your body in size order and die on the spot. Your father takes off the novelty horse mask he was wearing and sheds a single tear. You have died of bone-gone horse fright. You have not strangled a horse. Return to start. Jesus Christ, Guy. What are we doing? I kind of want to... Guy, I'm going to do one more run. And then I'm going to leave it to you guys to figure out how to strangle a horse. Because I think it'd be worth you getting into it. And I don't want to spoil all of it. Because Jesus Christ. Okay. Little sip of my beloved Pepsi Max. Oh, that's so good. Fiddle with the microphone as I always do. I'm sure it makes lots of terrible sounds and I'm sorry for that. Okay, one more time. I will strangle a horse. I'm sorry. I mean, okay. I'm still thinking about the cobra thing and waking up from my bloody pranking father. Okay, let's go back to the house. I felt safe in the house. Apart from the cupboard. But we don't have to go in the cupboard. Right, let's read this again. You stride with purpose towards the door to the farmhouse. If you know anything about horses, to be clear, you absolutely don't. This is where the horse will be found, probably hiding in some sort of the farmer's cupboard, like the cowardly brute it is. You steal yourself, you knock on the door, you've got what you believe is your job to do, strangle a horse, and by God, you're going to do it. Strangle a horse. Knock, knock. That's right. No one answers the door. So, let's knock again. Let's knock again. Barging in didn't do us any favours that time because of the whole mechanical spider thing, right? So let's just be chill. You knock again, feeling smug about being so polite. Still no answer. Knock again. We're going to keep knocking. We're going to knock again. You knock again, feeling smug about being so polite. Still no answer. Knock again. This feels like a loop. What if it's not a loop? What if you knock like 15 times and then something happens? I feel like that's the kind of nonsense a guy would put into this. However, I also feel Guy's the kind of person who would want you to believe that he would have hidden an Easter egg behind an insurmountable amount of knocks in order to force us to keep knocking like fools. Further to that thought, I think Guy would make us knock an insurmountable amount of times and then kill us through our hand being worn down to a nub and therefore being unable to strangle a horse. Nonetheless, I'm going to knock again. And knock again. And knock again. I mean, I think the house is empty. Nonetheless, I just knock again. How many times do I trust this? I don't know how many times I've done it. 3 more times. Knock again. Knock again. Knock again. Okay, fine. If there is a hidden knock again, loop out. I haven't found it. I'm going to barge in. There's going to be murder spiders. Here we go. The précis really hurts from kicking the door open. Here is Martin, you say. Unfortunately, your method of entry, an unwitting movie reference, has activated the incredibly high-tech security system that all of the farms have in the farmhouses, which is trained to detect people who A, kick a house's door to bits, and B, reference a movie from maybe 40 odd years ago while they're doing it. Okay, alarms are blaring, emergency lights are flashing. You remember from your farm training handbook, the event of the alarm being triggered, a swarm of mechanical murder spiders will be released with the goal of reducing all matter deemed farm naughty into a thin paste to feed to the pigs. Whatever they are. Okay. Should we try running this time? Let's try running. Murder spiders could be anywhere, so you decide it's simply not safe to try and hide. You immediately began sprinting through the house, hoping to locate the "please do not turn me into paste, it's my first day on the farm, and I haven't had anything that could be called a real induction" switch, which should placate the bloodthirsty techno-arachnids swarming the walls, just giddy to make some goo. So, we can head to the kitchen and we get security office. Let's head to the security office. That sounds like a place where that would help. Maybe there's a button that turns off the murder spiders. Conversely, maybe that's where the murder spiders live and there's a murder spider sitting at a desk in a tie and he's like, "What are you up to, mate?" The security office, of course, crouching low to avoid the murder spiders. Everyone knows that spiders, both real and mechanical, prefer to search towards the middle and higher parts of the room because that's where the flies' houses are. And flies are the dinners of spiders. You creep your way past the kitchen, noticing with a satisfying nod the large loaf of freshly baked farmhouse bread on the floor. Good job you didn't check up on that. Could have caused quite a scene. A right scene. I can read. I don't just make up words halfway through a sentence and assume how it's going to go. In fact, you're so smug about how you avoided a gluten-based disaster that you fail to notice the giant uber mecha murder spider standing in front of the security room door. because that's his office and he saw you coming a fucking mile off. There's cameras and that. My problem is I know I've got to stop. He picked you up and put your head in your bum. You have died of spider bum head. You have not strangled a horse. Return to start. I think I've learned a lot about how much I know Guy, which is quite funny because we haven't met that many times. This is fun. I'm going to have fun fiddling with all that, but I'm going to call it here for now. I would implore you to play with it as well, because Guy, I love Guy's writing, and I love his very strange brain. Yeah, and follow him. Play the game. The game is available at... Does this just go back a page? No, okay. I can click on Martin Jenkins. Oh, okay. My stats for this run have been Martin 1, Jenkins 1, Farm yes. That's good. That's good. Deaths 5. I died of bad yoga. Ooh, look at all this for endings. A world of possibility. Yeah, definitely go play this. I will put the link to this game. It's an itch.io game, so it's in a browser. In the, what's that thing down there called? Description. And maybe I'll flash it up on screen right now. Go play it. Have fun. Let me know what death you got. That's it. That's the video. It's great. I hope you liked whatever music I put over the top of this, and that it wasn't too loud. The end.